Today I want to talk about work. What is it? What place does work have in a man's life? I mean, usually when we're at work, we long to be off work, right? We long for the next holiday, for the vacation, for the weekend. And a lot of people also have this kind of Sunday anxiety that soon it's Monday, the weekend's over, and we have to go back to what basically feel like slavery. And I mean, isn't it a sort of slavery? What is slavery? It's that you work for somebody else. And I mean, the slaves of old, what they got in return, I hear, I'm not an expert, but uh, basically you would kind of pledge yourself to a master and you would then work for that master and the master would provide food and shelter, I guess. And if you look at it, what is it that you get from working today? You get food and shelter. Now, you may say that, yeah, but you can, you're free. But I think that as long as you have to work for somebody to earn enough money to provide food and shelter, then you're not actually free, are you? I mean, it's the same sort of concept. You can just quit because you have to work for food and shelter. So I would definitely say that the traditional work, and I'm familiar with like office work in the software engineering industry, and I've always considered it a form of slavery. Now, that's not necessarily bad. I mean, I've had good masters, and there is definitely. I mean, that's super important. I mean, as long as you have a good master, then what's so bad about being a slave? But, I've always still longed for freedom. And usually I visualize that freedom as being able to work for myself, which is not having to work for somebody else, but instead being able to spend my time on whatever projects or stuff I think is appropriate. Yeah. I also remember there being a quote somewhere I heard that, something about something along the lines of, and I mean, now it's going to become really clear that I don't do any sort of research or prepare for these episodes. But it's been kind of in the back of my mind because somebody said, I think at some point, something along the lines of, man finds purpose in work. Or I think there was even something, and it might be another quote or the same quote, but something about like work being kind of where man finds God, or where he worships God, or something like that. And I mean, I've been really thinking about that because initially I was like, whoa, that is tragic, if kind of the highest purpose of a man is work. And since I regarded work as slavery, then so the highest purpose of a man would be to be a slave. That just sounds that sounds depressing to me. But I've come to realize now that I have been free for a while. I now work for myself, and I can spend my time on whichever projects I feel is necessary. I mean, I still need to find somebody to pay me, right? So I guess just unlimited wealth would be the only way to not be a slave in the sense that I'm talking about it right now. But I get to pick my clients, and I can pick and choose, and I can change whenever I want. And I've also found this one client where I can have a lot of time off, or a really flexible schedule and a good hourly wage. And yeah, it's been tough, and I now realize that that I'm already out of 5 minutes. So I guess I'm gonna make this a double episode. I'm gonna talk for 5 more minutes because I don't think I'm done. And if you think I'm done, then Thanks for watching. See you later, and you can just end right now. But I'll go on for 5 more minutes because I've basically just laid the foundation of my situation, right? So I've established what I think is that work is slavery, and that I am currently not in such a slavery position. And the interesting thing, and that's basically what I wanted to say this whole time, is the interesting thing is that it is definitely possible to not be super happy every day, even though I'm free. I'm not slaving anymore. I mean, I used to complain about having to go to work and work for somebody else, and like, oh, if I was only free. And now that I am free, I'm like, I can do anything. I can do anything. So what the crap should I do? What the crap could be worth my focus? Because the opportunity cost is suddenly huge, right? I mean, it's basically always there, but as if you're like hired, if you're employed by someone and you just go there, then you've basically made like a longer term commitment, and you've like you probably made a decision up front, like, okay, I'm not going to work over here, I'm going to work for this employer, not this employer. And then you kind of looked at the opportunity cost there and said, oh, well, yeah, this is the one. It's worth working for this one. And then you probably don't kind of reevaluate that decision for at least, a few months or a year or even many years, because you're like, yeah, well, I'm with this one now, and it's fine. So yeah, I mean, but if you're not employed and you like continuously evaluate, like for instance, I've been basically off for the last month, and I was like, yeah, great, super early holiday, and I like being free, but since nobody else is free of my friends or my family, because they're all slaves still, then I have this a lot of time alone, right? A lot of time alone. And this is just my opportunity. I could do whatever I want, and I'm faced with that every day. So instead of just going to same work today that I went to yesterday, because I did that decision just once a few years ago or whatever, because I'm employed, instead I'm faced with that every day. So every day I'm asking myself, what do I want to do today? What is the most important thing to do today? And that becomes hard. And I think the main problem is that there is never you're never given like the right answer. If you play a game, if you play like a questions game, like say you play Jeopardy, you give an answer, or in that case you ask the question, but you know what I'm talking about. Like you give an answer to a question and you immediately gets the feedback, because it's all about the feedback, right? So you get the feedback, that's the correct answer, or no, that's the incorrect answer. Even if it's the incorrect answer, at least you can like let go. You can emotionally move on. But if you're asking yourself this same question, like what is important to do? What should I spend my time on? And there is nobody to validate your choice. Like there is nobody to say, oh yeah, that's the right choice, or nah, that wasn't such a great choice. Now, if you're employed and you go to an office or a workplace, wherever, where there's other people around, then at least, they made the same choice, right? So they are there to immediately validate your choice. Like, oh, hey, you showed up for work today. Again, which of course you're obligated to by contract, but there's that social level of validation. And you don't have to like rethink it and like second guess it all the time. Like, should I really be here? Should I really do this? Which is what I do every day currently, folks. Which I did not expect, really. I thought I was like, I'm going to just create this massive project of awesomeness and then just focus on it and see it through and become famous, and everything's going to be cool and everybody's going to be like in awe of what I could achieve now that I was no longer a slave. Yeah, more on this another time. Thanks for listening so far.